HR to HR, from hell raising to human respect. The podcast is a little bit of career therapy, a little bit of chaos control, and a lot of workplace wisdom. Basically, all the things that ain't in the employee handbook. You're not going to want to miss it. Hey, HR to HR community, thanks for tuning in. This is a super quick episode this week. We're talking about workplace identity. We're going to talk about how we end up establishing a workplace identity. We're going to talk about a little bit of the weight and the gravity that goes along with that. And we're also going to talk about how to preserve it. So tune in, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. Welcome, friends. I am so excited that you are here and taking some time to listen in. I am Dr. Ebony L. Baylor, creator, host, and curator of HR to HR with another meaningful and necessary discussion for today. Before we jump in, please be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss what's coming up next. And your support helps us grow a community that thrives in the workplace. I hope you have or will take the opportunity to check out the other episodes that we have, our first two episodes. There are so much wisdom and so much insights being shared. And honestly, those conversations help shape today's topic, managing your workplace identity. Before we get started, I want to begin with from Marie Gill's piece called "Work Isn't Your Whole World, but it can help you build one worth living in." In this piece, Marie talks about something that resonated deeply with me, and I'm curious if it resonates with you too. So, as you're listening in, please feel free to comment. But we just don't go to work for a check. We go seeking purpose and connection. And think about the whole interview process. Your skills, your experience, maybe even a relationship may have gotten you to the table or gotten you through the door for the interview. But in those interviews, whether one or whether many interviews, you are really searching for a connection. You're looking for a place where your work has purpose, where your contributions have impact, where you can be and add value, and where you're going to be respected. And when you feel that alignment with the people, the team, the culture, you buckle up for the ride. You're ready to sign up. You start adopting, assimilating, and building your brand and ultimately shaping your identity. Research has consistently shown that when people feel they matter, depression and burnout trend lower, while motivation, engagement, mental health, and willingness to contribute trend on the higher side. Makes good sense, right? It feels good. But what happens to you when that connection dissolves? When purpose, impact, and value diminish or no longer align with your values? What happens when the job changes or when it disappears? It can hit like a ton of bricks because you've built an identity around that role. Mike Richardson's article, The Blurred Lines Between Work and Identity, highlights what many of us already know. Is that we spend more time at work than anywhere else. Let's think about that for a second. So remote work has amplified the always-on behavior. And always, over time, our identity gets outsourced to the company, to performance, to how much we move or don't move within the organization. And that makes us really emotionally vulnerable because this identity attachment is 100% emotional. And when we anchor our self-worth to our role, we risk real hurt. Think about layoffs, self-transition. Either way, there can be a grief in the identity or losing the identity that you've created. And the light bulb moment for me was in episode 2 of HR to HR. I had the opportunity to sit with Philo Rosa from Corporate Warriors, and she said should create emotional distance, meaning setting some boundaries. And we also need to recognize that we are a service or a transaction in the workplace. And that's not a bad thing. But think about the many roles that you occupy. If you're a spouse, if you're a partner, if you're a parent, a care provider, a son or a daughter, some roles evolve. In those examples that I've given, those roles evolve. And in those roles, you have an identity. Work, it's totally different. Work can end. And sometimes work can end outside of your control. So when you think about it from that lens, does it deserve the majority of your identity and self-worth? And this is not a call to be a poor performer, because listen, I believe in excellence and doing excellence in all things. But even in excellence, there are some failures, some shortcomings, missed KPIs. And if your identity is anchored solely in performance, a bad showing can leave you devastated, emotionally drained, and feeling just completely debilitated. Kathy Caprino calls this career grief, a profound sense of loss tied not just to a job, but to identity, purpose, and self worth. She notes that career grief can look like constantly replaying memories of the old, asking, "Who am I now?" Having emotional waves that come and go. And this can happen after a layoff, again, after a self transition, or even a performance misstep because your identity is affixed to the role or to the company. Mind blowing, right? Let me pause and just say this clearly. You are not alone. If you're having this light bulb moment and it's like bells and whistles going off, you're not alone. If this has happened to you or happening to you, you are human. This is simply an opportunity to check where your identity meter is resting and course correct if you need to. In full transparency, as a high performer and overachiever, someone who went above and beyond, I chased the dopamine hit. I chased the hit for connection, for a sense of purpose, for impact and value, and convinced myself that my worth depended on those things. But through doing some inner work in the level setting, recalibrating, I realized something powerful. I'm pretty damn awesome outside of work. That's right. I am pretty awesome. I have skills, I have talents, I have gifts that exist beyond my job. I mean, they are meaningful and they have value. And stepping into that realization felt like entering a whole new world, just a whole new world. How do we manage to preserve and protect our identity? The writers I've referenced today so far, Marie Gill, Mike Richardson, and Kathy Caprino, offer actionable steps. I'll highlight a few, but I encourage you to read their full pieces that are going to be listed in the episode description. Across all three, one theme really stood out, and it was boundaries. Boundaries between you and your work, boundaries between your role identity and your actual identity, boundaries around how much weight you give metrics, promotions, and performance. And my personal favorite comes from Mike Richardson, where he's encouraging everyone to cultivate a strong sense of personal identity outside of work. Engage in hobbies, nurture relationships, pursue personal growth that is unrelated to your job. Do something that's not tied to your job. So, in this episode's WWW Workplace Word of Wisdom, I want to lean into self-discovery. You are a whole person. You are likely only tapping into a fraction of your non-work related abilities. That thing you've always wanted to try, or that skill that you've thought you could never develop, that dream you put on pause because of work and work consuming your full capacity. And it's time to make room for it. Make room for joy. Make room for hobbies. Make room for relationships and connections. Make room for the parts of you that have nothing to do with your job. You will discover or rediscover that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You'll also discover you are uniquely designed to do, to be, and to occupy spaces beyond the workplace. Don't deny yourself that opportunity. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Listen, give me some comments, give me some feedback, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share so that we can continue to have dialogue, we can continue to have conversation, grow the community that thrives in the workplace, and move beyond some of these hell-raising situations and moving into a place of human respect. Until next time, stay respected by being respectful.